My name is Mike Messier, and welcome to Messier Mantra. On this episode, we have a return guest. His name is Joshua DAHLIN. Joshua.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
Good, man.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you, yeah. It seems like just 5 minutes ago, but in the magic of television, we're here for another episode. And we described you as an entrepreneur, and some of these topics we're talking about pretty powerful stuff. We're talking about solar energy, mindset, and health and wellness. So on the prior episode, we didn't really get into the health and wellness. Do we want to start there? Talk about what you're doing with people there.
The health and wellness, it basically goes with a lot of the mindset.
Right.
Like, I'm not an extremely healthy guy. Like I said, it's really hard for me to exercise because I have a muscle disease. I have crooked legs, flat feet, all this stuff that, you know,
Right.
I have to have surgery because I don't have anything connecting my socket to the shoulder.
Okay.
So for exercise for me is really hard.
Right.
But I eat extremely well. You know, I very healthy. I was 262 pounds, and now I'm down to about maybe 222,
Nice.
225. So I don't know how much math that is.
About 40 pounds, yeah. give or
Yeah,
take,
so
yeah.
there's really no excuse.
Right.
You know, if I can get up and exercise, everybody else can.
Right.
And if I can get up and I have to do a lot of stretching.
Right.
You know, and I spend a lot of time with my kids, and I only work a couple hours a day.
Yes.
So it's hard to fit exercise in with the kids, so I go outside with them a lot,
Right.
and a lot of movement. But that's not really stretching. So.
Right.
But what I did was, same thing with solar. I made myself an independent guy, and you know, I really chased different avenues for athletes, and I'm fascinated by snack foods.
Okay.
So I got into energy drinks and how bad all the stuff is for you.
Right.
And so I tracked down the best energy drink I could find for people, the best snacks for people, the best things for athletes to keep them really like going, like body-wise,
Right.
like recovery items, and so I do a lot of item stuff.
Right.
But I also do weight loss. I love it when people lose weight.
Right.
You know, because you could see the change in their face. Like,
Yeah.
look at what I did.
Right.
You know, and from there, once you do something with your body that you've never done before,
Right.
it's a snowball effect.
Yeah.
You know, the average lifespan of an athlete, as weird as this sounds, is 10 to 15 years. They do it, and they'll keep doing it for 10 to 15 years.
Okay.
Most of the time, a family will get in the way, which will stop it. That's like the number one reason. There's always some family thing that stops people from exercising. And once they stop, that's it. Like most people.
When you say athlete, do you mean like the regular person who's doing something athletic?
The regular, I don't mean like pro athletes.
Right,
pro
right.
athletes are totally different.
Right.
They're the 1% that do it every day.
Okay.
Forever.
But someone who says, "Hey, I want
Average
to
person.
play tennis, you know,
Yeah.
every Sunday and
When I say athlete, I kind of mean like average person.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, average people will work out 2 to 3, 5 times a week, and they'll keep it going for the most I've seen is like 15 years. Average people usually 10 to 15, and I shouldn't say the average person, the slightly above average person.
Right. Because some people aren't even doing that.
Yeah,
They're like,
the average person, they go to the gym on New Year's Day. I'm gonna
they pay their $500 for the yearly membership, and then on February 1st they're watching, you know,
I went to
opening
the
round
gym
of the
once.
football playoffs or something. And it's tough because I've experienced. I go to the YMCA, you know, not to plug too much, but the YMCA is a good deal, and you go there and there's even a buzz, you know, the first couple of weeks of you know, the new year, and it's like, okay, we're seeing all these new faces and people are getting into it, and like they have that look of determination. And week comes and goes, and some of those numbers are filling out, and then by the first or second, you know, week of February, you're pretty much seeing the people that were there at the end of, you know, the previous year, and those newbies that came in for the first month of the new year, kind of fizzling out. You know, with some people hang with it. But
not most.
Yeah, not most. And that whole, just as my own little thought here, the whole New Year's resolution thing seems a little, to me, contrived, because it's almost like if you're going to make a change in your life, why wait for a calendar date to do it? It could be September 15th, and you're saying, hey, you know what? September 15th, I'm going to stop eating, cupcakes and Twinkies all the time.
Yeah,
And start eating
yeah.
an apple once a day,
You'd be amazed. There's so much science and research behind people, and it's like everything has to align perfectly, and
Right.
it has to be the exact right moment, and that's all crap.
Yeah.
It really is, but people believe that has to be like that, and that goes into the mindset as well. Like when I say health and wellness,
Yep.
the mindset in the health and wellness, even the green energy and being an entrepreneur and being graciously like invited to be in an extraordinary society, like all of that stuff, like it's all intertwined.
Right.
Like I could never be an entrepreneur if I didn't have the right mindset, and I could never be healthy if, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's all intertwined.
Now you got to tell me about this extraordinary.
Oh, it's an extraordinary society. It's pretty funny. I knew a lot of the people for a long time because I've worked for myself on and off.
Yes.
And sometimes you have success and sometimes you don't.
Right.
I worked for, oh God, I can't even think of how many different companies, and 3-4 companies here and there, trying to be an independent guy. And as soon as I start building a business and really starting to make money, they'd close the doors.
Right.
But that's the way things work.
Yes.
Companies don't last forever.
Right.
So that's happened to me a few times. I've gotten promised a lot of money, and then the doors have closed.
Right.
Or I've gotten promised a lot of money, and then one company, I worked for solar, and I've tried. They had some really, really great things for people, and they helped a lot of people. So I was like, oh wow. So I did a lot of business with them, and they didn't do anything for anybody. And I was
Right.
like, well, I have like 200 people waiting for solar. What's going on? And they lost their funding. So it is what it is, and that's just how business is.
Right.
And being an independent guy, just kind of, okay, what are you gonna do?
Right.
Move on to the next. And I will never work for another person.
Yeah.
But so having that mindset of I'm going to be independently wealthy, right? I'm going to change the entire world,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be the best person I can be, and be the best dad, be the best husband. Like those are my big goals.
The big bullet points.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's how am I going to get there?
Right.
And it just so happens when somehow I stumbled into this extraordinary society.
Right.
And these people, they all have the same mindset. They're all most of them are entrepreneurs.
Right.
They're all business owners. They're all health and wellness people. Like they're healthy people.
Right.
Mind, body, and spirit. Some of them are very spiritual.
Yes.
And I was very fortunate to get into this society. I was very fortunate. I could the progress I have made. It's when you put out positivity.
Right.
Positivity comes back to you.
Yeah.
And if you have a certain mindset, like if you're looking for a house, you wouldn't ask a homeless guy, how do I get a house?
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like going into a bar room and being like, anybody know anything about staying sober?
Right.
Well, but the
I
problem
did it for a week, buddy.
yeah. The problem is that's what most people do.
Right. The blind
And it
leading the
sounds
blind.
really stupid.
Right.
Most people will put a blindfold on
Right.
and just hope that somebody will take them to their dreams while they walk around aimlessly.
Right.
And so I started seeking out all these people that had things that I wanted.
Right.
I started seeking out wealthy people
Right.
and business owners. I started with brick and mortar businesses, walking in and be like, where's the owner?
Right.
And they're like, why do you want to talk to the owner? I want to know how he got this business up and running.
Yeah.
And people thought I was crazy.
Right.
Right? So I'm like yelling at the flower shop guy, why aren't you talking to me?
He's like, you want a flower or not? I got some petals. You want those, Josh?
And he's like, he's like telling the ladies, like, just give him some flowers so we'll get out of here, And but you really have to chase it.
Right.
And when I started chasing it, amazing things happened. Like I really started changing my mindset. I started reading different books, like Tony Robbins and Napoleon Hill.
Right.
And then there was Hal. Hal does Morning Miracle.
Okay.
You know, I talked about that, I think, in the last episode.
Right.
Great book. If
Right,
you ever
right.
get a chance to read that, it's a wonderful book.
Yeah.
So when I started changing my mindset, you know, I go out on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
You know, me and my wife were staying up real late to do something for the kids. And I went out and I was telling her, I said, I really need to set something up where I'm in a group, like 5 or 6 people, a mastermind group.
Right.
And just have it be set on business or mindset and really focus. Just the 6 of us brainstorm on how we can be the best and emanate that to. When I was telling her, she thought I was crazy.
Sure.
So I went to the store Christmas Eve. This is a great story.
Yeah.
And I run into another old friend of ours. I don't know if you remember Mr. Smooth Dave.
I think I do a little bit. It was
He's a
just,
great
you know,
guy. Great guy,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But now we're all grown up.
Right.
And he owns a motivational speaking company.
Okay.
And
Nice.
I was telling him, I'm like, wow, I can't believe you're doing that. I'm looking to really start doing something, maybe not motivational speaking, but I'm really trying to grow and start a group. And he's like, hey, I got another guy, and he's looking to start a group too.
Nice.
So when you put that out there, like something, it just so happened. I said it that
manifestation,
day.
yeah.
That night I met him, and now we're in talks of getting this group together. Still, he's an independent guy. He's not married with kids, so he goes all over the place. He's a big traveler.
Sure.
So it's hard to niche down. But then from there, I sought out more people like that.
Right.
And more successful business people. And people that worked from home. That's always been a dream of mine.
Right.
My son, he goes to school at 12. My daughter's home at 2:30. Mm-hmm. So I'm home all the time.
Right.
You know, the last company I was with shut down, so I was kind of stuck home to babysit. And
Right.
Not that, I shouldn't say that because I love my kids.
Right.
I won't do anything. If my daughter needs a Band-Aid, like
Sure.
everybody who's dying outside, you stay dying. My daughter needs this Band-Aid first. I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
You know, my number one mission is to be a good dad.
Of course. Yeah.
So after she gets the Band-Aid, then I can save the world.
Right.
So I really needed to find these people who worked at home and were successful, and entrepreneurs like me who really thought like I do. Like the money isn't even real.
Right.
Money's only real if you give it value. Mm-hmm. So if it's not real, why do we put so much value into it?
Yeah.
It's all mindset.
Right.
Money needs me to make it real. So I needed to find people who thought that same thing, hence the Extraordinary Society. And it just so happens I was one of the guys, I do some marketing.
Yes.
I show people how to market and sales and stuff. And not that I'm the best, but if I can show other people what I know,
Right.
it makes me 10 times better.
Okay.
I should say.
Yeah.
You know, it's not the teacher. The teacher gets more from the student than the student does from the teacher.
Yes.
So it ended up that I found another marketer who was in this society. He had an own business, and he was in Utah or something. And he said, "Hey, you know, you really sound like you'd be good for us. Do you want to come and see what we're about?" And I said, "Sure." So then he found out I was an entrepreneur. I talked to all these people, and now I'm in this like great society, and it's a closed society.
Where does this society take place? I'm trying to wrap my head.
It's basically online. It's like an
Okay.
online community.
Sure.
Because they're spread out through the whole world.
Okay.
So basically, it's like social media people, all like entrepreneurs, and a couple of them. One of them's I think a priest.
Okay.
Just top-notch marketing people, like top-notch recruiting people, top-notch sales people. Like when I started looking at what these people did for a living,
Right.
I mean, they all basically work in the same kind of fields,
Yeah.
but they all work in health and wellness. They all work. Well, I'm the only guy that really works with solar, but they all work in mindset.
Right.
And then they're all entrepreneurs. They're investors as well. So and a lot of them are spiritual, like the priest.
Right.
So when you get into this like society, I was like blown away.
Are there in-person meetings as well? Or is there mostly
Yeah,
summer
they do
stuff?
in-person meetings.
Yeah.
But I live in Rhode Island.
Right.
And most of them are on the West Coast.
California, sure.
Yeah.
San Francisco.
I mean,
yeah.
we're all going to get together, hopefully, and I think we're going to meet in Texas.
Okay.
And Orlando.
Right.
There's actually a big, I think Tony Robbins do something in Orlando, and I got together. Me and a bunch of the other guys were talking about possibly going.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm actually going to do that if I can't bring my wife and kids, though.
Sure.
So I might not. But they're all meeting there.
Right.
You know, it's like it's weird how it works because I got into this great society, and they all teach each other stuff.
Right.
You know, so we're all learning off each other, and we're growing our businesses, and you know, being in health and wellness, I do a lot of like products for people. Mindset, I'll tell anybody mindset stuff. I love that stuff.
Right.
But they actually have like courses on mindset, and they'll teach you mindset. And I was like, oh my God, you know, how awesome is that?
Yeah, definitely.
And but the thing is that we're all business owners. Like there's certain things that you have to be to get in. They're not going to just be like, oh yeah, come join our society.
Join the fun, yeah.
Yeah, you know, there's like screenings that you have to like really be different. You have to want more for your life than, you know, 9 to 5, you know, please lead me the way, show me the way, lead me, you know, like they don't, those kind of people, even if they come in, they don't stay, you know, because they don't have the right attitude.
Right.
If that's the right word.
Sure.
So, like when I could never say enough about like what they have done with me and for me. Okay. And I've only been a member like a month or so.
Okay.
You know, and some of the people I've met, like I got a good friend MJ in there, and some of the stuff he just comes out with. His real name's Muhammad, but nobody calls him Muhammad because. You know, people are prejudiced or something. I don't know. Sure. So everybody calls him MJ, and I'm like, why would they call you MJ? Your name's Muhammad. I didn't get it, you know. And but I got to tell you, the guy, I mean, he takes care of his family. Right. He's got a business, and he helps people in his business. He helps people like with their mindset and their health, and like just have extraordinary lives. And the whole thing of the whole premise of the group is to be Superman. Okay. You go in the phone booth. Right. Do you come out of the phone booth as Clark Kent, or do you come out as Superman?
Interesting. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, find your inner phone booth, like, get it out there. And
kids these days are like, what's a phone booth? Yeah, you have a smartphone. You mean like a smartphone case? What are you talking about? No, it's a phone.
But
put a quarter in there. What's a quarter? Yeah. I got my digital money. Yeah.
That's funny. You should bring that up. I just saw a thing. A guy gave a girl a hotel phone, and he's like, oh, here you go. And she's like, and he's like, can you hang it up? And she's looking at it, and it's got a cord, and she's like, what the? She had no idea.
Yeah, right. Put this in my hair.
She's like, yeah. And she's dangling it, and she's like, I can't. What is it? Like, it was very funny.
Let's talk about, because as a father, not necessarily with your kids, of course, because you're raising them in a totally great fashion, but with kids, you know, kids these days, you know, like I'm even seeing that myself with some of my collaborators that are younger than me as far as the film and stuff like that I'm working in, and it just seems like a whole different ball game, just like the attention span and just the social skills, like to have a conversation like you and I are having, or other guests on the Mantra, like some of these younger people, 25 and younger, are just like, you know, it's just like, if it's not, you know, the T9, you know, and it's like, can you spell a word, or is it just an acronym all day? I mean, like, can you spell laugh out loud? I mean, even that's obnoxious, but do I have to get LOL'd and OMG'd? You know, like, do I have to have that? You know, some of these abbreviations, SMH, what is that? I'm shaking my head. I'm like, why are you shaking your head? I don't, why? You know, keep your head straight. You know, like, it makes no sense sometimes.
I'd love to tell you I understand, but my 12-year-old daughter, like, completely lost sometimes. And she'll walk around and be like, oh, LOL. Yeah. Like, does that mean it's funny? Like, you can't just laugh anymore?
Right. I'll spell out a ha-ha in a text. I'm giving you a ha-ha, person. Like, I'm giving you that extra letter, because like, I'll take my 4 letters of the ha-ha over your 3 in the LOL, and I got my point across. You know?
What it sounds really bad. Yeah. But the best thing that could have ever happened to me is that I'm extremely still uneducated. Okay. I mean, I read a lot, and I study, and I make mind maps of every book, and like I really try to retain information, which is really tough for me. But I have the attention span of like a gnat. Okay. So to listen to people, I really have to try to focus on in between the words. Right. To listen, and then I have to try to repeat it so I can hear what they're saying. And I tell my kids these things. And my son and my daughter, you know, they're mine, so they kind of understand. But when their friends come over, and I'm like, I tell them something, they're like, huh?
Yeah.
Like, no, you got to listen to in between the words.
Right.
What? Like,
Yeah.
they have no idea. And they're like, well, let me just text it to you.
Oh my God.
I'm standing right here.
Right,
like,
right.
You know, when it comes to like technology and stuff, like we had TV.
Right.
So our parents, I'm sure, were like totally, and now I'm sounding like my daughter, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
totally. They still say that.
Yeah.
But I remember my mom being like, why do you watch so much TV? Like, what's the matter with you?
Right.
Like, the world isn't in a box.
Yeah.
And I remember her saying that.
Right.
And it's not like I wasn't outside. I loved going outside. Like, I remember go outside.
Right.
You know, that was the
Right,
stern,
right.
like, you need to leave the house, don't come back until it's dark.
Shoot some ball in a hoop somewhere, throw a football,
Yeah,
do something.
It didn't matter where
Play
you
with a
went or
rock.
what you did.
Yeah, now
It
it's
was,
like,
you need
can
to
I
be
play with my
outside.
virtual rock? Can I Wikipedia, whatever, Wikipedia myself? Like it's just, it is getting a little scary. We're talking about Tony Robbins a little bit, and he's a guy that I listen to a lot, but his new financial books, 27 discs, I'm like, oh God, I want to go through this whole thing, see if I can learn something. I get to like the 26th or the 27th disc. Tony Robbins is talking about technology, and he's kind of getting away from the financial for a minute and talking about the improving technology and how we as humans, sooner or later, maybe the next 5 or 10 years, but it's predicted by one of his experts that we're going to be like basically locked in with our brains to like the cloud type of thing, not that exactly, but like, so the technology and the computers and everything else, the smartphones and everything else we have going for us, that it's going to break down like between the human and the technology, or more or less going to be like interconnected. And there was some term he used for that, but I don't remember the term, but I was like, I really got scared because I'm like, Tony, you lost me, man. I do not want to be connected to the internet. I do not want to be connected to other people. It's bad enough, like Craigslist. You lost me there. 2003. I'm good. Like I don't want to be like. And I was talking to a young guy, a friend of mine. We were in Connecticut working on a film together, and this guy is one of the crew members, super smart kid, 22, 23, and what he said to me was. He's like, Mike, I'm gonna, when they start, the farthest I'm gonna go is when they have the thing in your eye and like whatever that device. I'm like, don't even go that far. Like he's like, that's a given that he's gonna get like the Spectre, some type of villain, a superhero. He's gonna have like that thing, like a chip in your eye and like the half, like a cyborg type of thing. He's like, that's as far as I'm going. I'm like, don't go that far, like.
Wow, he's already made that decision, huh?
Yeah, like he's already decided he's gonna do that, but he's drawing the line after that. I'm like, I'm drawing the line with, give me my library card. They don't even have Dewey Decimal System as a library anymore. I was talking to a librarian.
I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah, and like I was in this private library in, Narragansett, Rhode Island, and I was just saying, hey, where's that Dewey Decimal thing? And the lady's like, we don't have it. She's like, we sold that a long time ago. Like, sold it? Private investor came in and bought the Dewey Decimal thing. It's really bad. So.
What? The Dewey Decimal System. That's awesome.
Yeah, like the Dewey Decimal is gone, man. Like that whole thing with all the drawers.
I didn't mean to laugh.
No, I don't know. I mean,
as a kid, I was like, man, this is the dumbest thing. Like, who would ever thought to buy it? Like, that's genius.
It's just like an antique.
I want to look that guy up and go visit him now.
Right,
and
but
look
he doesn't even have the books. He just has like this thing full of cards. Putting recipes in there or something.
That's awesome.
What a world.
It's funny, like, we're going off on this, and like the biggest thing with like advertising or anything that you do now, it's all social media and technology.
Right.
And I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. But I've got skills in it because I had to. And when you brought up the library, the best thing in the world is the library.
Yeah.
And people like, I don't understand. People they'll sit and research and try to like find things to do. Like, I got a whole education for like $1.75 and overdue books at the library.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
I learned how to market, like not technically market, but I learned how to like influence people and talk to people, and communication is my worst skill.
Right.
And when you go into social media and stuff like this, all your typing, there's no tone with typing.
Right. There's no inflection of the voice.
So when you type something, it could be taken any way they read it.
Right. Sarcastic, serious, humorous, jibing a little bit.
And when I talk to people face to face, it's amazing. Like I do a lot of mirroring just to see. Like if they lean forward, I'll kind of lean forward, you know, just to see. Like, and when they kind of lean back, I'll lean back a little bit.
Sure.
And I like my space.
Right.
But I like to like copy people, and it's weird that stuff makes people feel comfortable still.
Right.
You know, you wouldn't think. If people are so awkward to talk to.
Yes.
If you go to the grocery, try saying hi to 10 people you don't know.
Right. Yeah,
Even if I like, oh, you dropped this.
Right.
They pick it up and they're like,
right.
I'm not texting you that you dropped it. I'm picking it up and giving it to you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's very odd. Like, you just can't walk up. I remember when I was a kid. You ever get somebody to come to your house when you were a kid? It would be like, it didn't matter who it was. If it was a encyclopedia salesman, come on in.
Sure,
they making them dinner. Like we were putting out the red carpet for anybody that came to our house.
Yeah.
You try to go to somebody's house nowadays,
Right.
Police are outside, like, whoa.
You've got to make a text to someone. You have to send someone an email to see if you can text them, and then you have to send them a text to see if you can meet on the phone, talk on the phone, and then you got to like have 5 phone calls. Hey, can we meet for a coffee? Coffee, yeah. I'll be getting my own coffee, thank you. You know,
like outside in public and in real life, like
it's just horrible.
That's my gripe of the day.
Joshua DAHLIN, man, we're running out of time again. Any quick words you want to say for Messier Mantra?
Oh, geez. I don't even know. I have so many good things. Like, if you got a dream, just chase it, man.
I like it.
Do whatever it takes. Write it down, look at it, envision it, do it. Right?
That's good. I like it. Joshua DAHLIN, thanks
Mike,
so much.
it was so good to talk to you, man.
Time flew by.
Yeah, it did. Thank you.
My name is Mike Messier. You've been watching the Messier Mantra. Thanks to our guest, Joshua DAHLIN, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.